point, Uday, because the cold numbers do not really communicate what's really happening. So the reason why we are so happy about the growth is because of the quality of growth that's happening. The growth is not happening because we are at war with anybody and therefore there is a war economy kicking in. The growth is not happening because there is an oversupply that we are pumping in and we are pumping in cash to make the economy grow. The growth is happening because of fundamentals within the economy. And those fundamentals have taken a lot of time to create. It was a painful process, as Professor Nalapat and Dr. Kohli mentioned. It has taken a lot of time to set the foundations, to clean up the base, where we were about 10 years back, where it seemed that India cannot be salvaged. It seemed to be one of the fragile economies. And from there, we have become one of the leading economies. In fact, to the extent that if we continue at this rate, then possibly by end of this financial year, we will already be the third biggest economy in the world. Now, if you look at any of the large economies, they're largely hobbled. They're not able to grow at more than 3%. If you look at Japan, in fact, unfortunately, they went into a recession. They did not go into a recession on a yen basis, but because the yen depreciated against the dollar, they actually, on a dollar basis, they went into into a recession. But if you look at India, because of the infrastructure being put into place, because of the industry coming up in a secular manner across all kinds of segments, and we are not falling into trap that India should only get into services, should only be doing programming, should only be doing low-end things or high-end things. So there is no dogmatism which is driving the economy. It is pure pragmatism which is driving the economy, and therefore it's a healthy growth which will propel itself year after year. Now, again, another fixation that we seem to have is to have a 8%, 10% growth, which China was showing in the last decade or so. Now, that's not necessarily a right way to look at things, because if you grow at that pace, then falling off the cliff is also very, very easy, which is where China is right now. From all the fundamentals that we see in China, the economy seems to be falling off the cliff. There is no demand for housing. There is negative demand, in fact, for housing. There is a reduction in demand for goods. It's only in the last quarter that we see a blip because the government is forcing people to buy. They're buying back their old, stoves, their old equipment, and old televisions, and then getting them to buy new ones. That's a forced purchase that they're doing, which is now reflecting into better statistics. But statistics is not the entire truth, and that's where I think the question that you started off with is an excellent question. That what does it really mean? And in India's case, it means that we are looking at a healthy secular growth for a long, long time to come, and we don't need to chase 8%, 9% growth. As long as we are steady between 7 to 8, and we make sure that the vulnerable sections of the society are taken care of, nobody goes without a meal, nobody goes without healthcare, which are the programs being rolled out. I think we should have a prosperous, happy set of citizens in this country, and that's what we should look for.